The Catholic Church celebrates the memory of Saint Barnabas on June 11th. The apostle and missionary was among Christ's earliest followers and was responsible for welcoming Saint Paul into the church. Though not one of the 12 apostles chosen by the Lord, he is traditionally regarded as one of the 72 disciples of Christ and most respected man in the first century church after the apostles themselves. Saint Barnabas was born to wealthy Jewish parents on the Greek-speaking island of Cyprus, probably around the time of Christ's own birth. Traditional accounts hold that his parents sent him to study in Jerusalem, where he studied at the school of Gamaliel. Later on, when Christ's public ministry began, Barnabas may have been among those who heard him preach in person. At some point, either during Christ's ministry or after his death and resurrection, Barnabas decided to commit himself in the most radical way to the teachings he had received. He sold the large estate he had inherited, contributed the proceeds entirely to the church, and joined Christ's other apostles in holding all of their possessions in common. Saul of Tarsus, the future Saint Paul, approached Barnabas after the miraculous events surrounding his conversion and was first introduced to Saint Peter through him. About 5 years later, Barnabas and Paul spent a year in Antioch building up the church community whose members were the first to go by the name of Christians. Both Paul and Barnabas received a calling from God to become the apostles of the Gentiles, although the title is more often associated with Saint Paul. The reference to the laying on of hands in Acts chapter 13 suggests that Paul and Barnabas may have been consecrated as bishops on this occasion. Barnabas and Paul left Antioch along with the cousin of Barnabas, John Mark, who would later compose the most concise account of Christ's life and be canonized as Saint Mark. For many years, the two apostles, Paul and Barnabas, traveled and preached among the Gentiles, suffering persecution and hardships for the sake of establishing Christianity among those of non-Jewish background. Barnabas and Paul finally separated in their ministries while remaining apostles of the one Catholic Church over Paul's insistence that Mark not travel with them again. In death, however, the apostles to the Gentiles were reunited. Mark is said to have buried Barnabas after he was killed by a mob in Cyprus around the year 62. Saint Paul and Saint Mark were in turn reconciled before Saint Paul's martyrdom 5 years later. He is said to have been stoned to death in Salamis in the year 61. Saint Luke described Barnabas as a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and of faith, Acts 6:24. And he was known for his exceptional kindliness and personal sanctity and his openness to pagans.